What is up, everybody? This is Tithonlance here, bringing you the brand new video. Today we'll be talking about the OCG imports today. They've been announced about 2 days ago, and I actually want to take a moment to actually talk about them because they are actually quite controversial, but everyone seems to be unanimously decided on how terrible these preprints are. I'm actually of the opposite opinion, honestly. I honestly think these OCG imports are fine, because if you really think about it, Flames of Destruction is already such an incredible set. They really didn't want to push it over the top, and honestly, I'd rather have this stuff now rather than later in some stupid pack that's going to fill up slots like Battles of Legend. So I think this is totally fine. Having more Crystal Beast support that has been announced, I think, a couple of years back, and some of the less good, quote unquote, Link monsters that have been in the Link Raids pack and the Flower Guardian card, which is pretty good. That being said, I think overall this is fine. Like I said, Flames of Destruction is already an incredible set. We have Trisbane coming in there. We have the Troy Mirrors. We have Elemental Sabers coming in that set as well. We have a lot of generic cards that are really good in that set, making their debut in Flames of Destruction. And I really think that if they were to push like Crystron Needle Fiber and Tribani or Cherubini, excuse me, and the Air Mage Link Monster, I think it'd just make the power level of the set way too high, and it'd be kind of like Star Strike Blast is today, where it's where a lot of the cards are super good later down the line, and it ends up being one of the most expensive sets in the history of Yu-Gi-Oh, other than like maybe like LOB and stuff like that sealed, but anyway, we're just going to go over the cards that are in this. They're not very good, like I said. Except for like maybe Inzektor Pico Falenia. She's actually really good. But let's just go right to it. I also think the Flower Guardian card is actually not too bad. So we got Crystal Master here, Dark Spellcaster Pinball Monster, level 3, 13 attack, 1000 defense with a penalty scale of 5. You contribute this card to add one Rainbow Dragon, Rainbow Dark Dragon, or Crystal Beast monster, or Crystal Spell Trap card, except the Crystal Counter or Violet Crystal from your deck to your hand. Penalty effect is all Crystal Beast cards, Rainbow Dragon and Rainbow Dark Dragon you control cannot be targeted by card effects. It's not bad. I like this effect where you use Tribute to add one of these cards. It's not really great though, but it's still fine. Like I said, I'm not really mad that these things are here. I'm going to be evaluating as cards themselves. I don't think we've ever gone over this stuff before, so we're going to go over it now. The Crystal Keeper, I think this is the worst one, but you're going to be playing it because it's a 2 scale. During the damage calculations during your player's turn, so this is a quick effect. If a Crystal Beast monster you control battles an opponent's monster, you contribute this card from your hand or your side of the field. During the battle of that your battling monster's attack and defense become double of its original attack and defense during the damage step calculations only, but it is destroyed during the end of the damage step. I think the reason why this card is good is because this effect particularly is good is because after it kills the monster that attacked into it, or if it attacks into it, you get some free fodder for the rest of your Crystal Beast stuff. So it's pretty good in that aspect, but it's worse than this card, I think, in my opinion. The Pendulum effect is once per turn, Crystal Beast cards, Rainbow Dragon or Rainbow Dark Dragon you control cannot be destroyed by card effects. That's pretty good. I'm not really going to be playing about cards that can't be destroyed by card effects, or other cards that grant that to other people, or other cards. The next card is Flower Guardian Moonflower Viewing. It's really weird. It's a Dark Warrior Synchro Tuner monster with level 6, 2000 attack, 2000 defense, 1 tuner plus 2 or more non-tuners. That's really weird for a level 6 tuner, for a level 6 synchro, excuse me. But whatever, let's just go right into it. Once per turn, you can activate this effect to skip the draw phase of your next turn. Also draw 1 card. And if you do, show it to your opponent and special summon it if it is a Flower Guardian, ignoring a summoning conditions, and if you do, it can attack directly this turn. When this card is used as synchro material, it is treated as you could treat all other synchro materials as that have a level. Or you could treat it and all other synchro materials that have level. It's weird wording, I guess. This is a pretty good card. It allows you to go further in with your plays. It allows you to draw a card, but you have to skip your draw phase, but that's fine. I really don't think that's a big deal, especially since you're getting such power off of it. You still get the draw of a card. just you got it. It's a little bit more risky, but you get the payoff of a good monster, perhaps. So I'm not too familiar with flower cardians. Perhaps I'll build them sometime just to play with them, but I don't know. Here we have the 3 link monsters. The first one is Shaddoll Construct, not El Shaddoll Construct. Keep that in mind, this is not El Shaddoll Construct. It's a Light Fairy Link, 1200 attack, Link 2 flip monsters. So you can use this in crawlers if you want, though I don't think you're going to. But it's weird how they just didn't say the 2 Shaddoll monsters, because it would have done just the same thing. During your main phase, you can fusion summon 1 Shaddoll fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters from your hand or fields as fusion materials. That's actually a pretty good effect. Having extra ways to fusion summon is not bad, though Shaddoll Fusion and up. I think both El Shaddoll Fusion and Shaddoll Fusion are a 3, so it's kind of moot, but it is still a nice effect. It might come up sometime, it might be relevant at some point. The problem with this thing is the link markers are left and right, so it's going to be very difficult to capitalize on this effect very often. The second effect is if this card is in your graveyard, you can send 1 Shaddoll card from your hand or face up on the field to the graveyard, and if you do special summon this card, that's how you're going to get around this. The scales being what they are, is having this card in the graveyard. Granted, this card has to die first, and in all intents and purposes, sending a Shaddoll card from your hand or face up on the field to the graveyard is not terrible, especially since if you do Shaddoll Beast, you get to draw a couple of cards, and if you do Falco, you get another free summon. So it's not terrible. I'm not going to say it's terrible, but it's not on the power level that it should be. It's, like I said, the scale, the link markers are really weird. It kind of puts you in a behind state where you have to go into something else, like I don't know, like another link monster, or you kind of have to just give up your scales, or not your scales, your link zone for that. Next is Insector Pico Falania, Dark Insect Link, 1000 attack, 2 Link 2, requires 2 insect monsters. Again, you can use this in crawlers, but you're probably just going to be using this in Insectors mainly, but Hornet and the other guy, I can't remember his name off the top of my head, is still at 1, so I don't think this is going to be particularly relevant. Hornet and Dragonfly, there we go, that's the one I was talking about. If this card is link summoned, you can discard 1 card and then target 1 other insect monster you control. Equip 1 insect monster from your deck to it as an equip card with this effect. This is any insect type monster, so do keep that in mind, but again, you're going to be playing this mostly in Insectors, so, but it's a nice effect. She's actually really good. The equip monster gains 500 attack and defense. The second effect is you can target 3 insect monsters in your graveyard, shuffle them back of the deck, then draw 1 card. You can only use this effect once per turn. Like I said, this is I think the creme de la creme of effects here. Having a built-in Pot of Avarice-like effect in a Link 2 monster, that's really good. The attack on the card is not very good, but that doesn't really matter when you're going into some insane boards and some insane pluses with this card. Especially if you're playing Insectors, but again, like I said, Dragonfly and Hornet are both still limited in TCG, so if they ever come to 2, maybe even 3, we actually might see some Insector players just come back from the grave and just, you know, take over some of the slots in the top 8s or top 32s and the regional stops. So we'll see how this goes, though. And the worst one, in my opinion, the worst link monster here is Madolche Fresh Start. Though you're going to be playing this because it's a Madolche link monster, and it is Link 2, and the link monsters are bottom left and bottom right. So do keep that in mind, that just because this card may seem like it's bad on the surface, doesn't mean that you're not going to be playing it in Madolche's, because you kind of have to. It's an Earth Fairy Link, 1500 attack, Link 2. Like I said, the markers are bottom left, bottom right. 2 Madolche monsters. This one's not generic, strangely enough, but it's whatever. The effects are when this card points to a Madolche monster, Madolche spell and trap cards you control cannot be destroyed by card effects. Also, neither player can target them with cards effects. That's pretty good. I'm not really going to complain about a card like that if you sit on the Tiramisu or anything else like that, or a la mode. It's really good because it prevents your field spell from being destroyed, which is really crucial because that deck is heavily reliant on their field spell. It also prevents Madolche Ticket from being destroyed, which is also a really good card, and it also prevents your counter traps, I believe, because they have some pretty nice counter traps from being destroyed too. So it's not bad. I'm not gonna say whether or not it's good or not. Actually, no, I'm wrong. Your opponent can absolutely target your Madolche and Spell and Traps, or your Madolche traps, because the game state won't recognize them as Madolche cards. Mabi. The second effect is if this card on the field would be destroyed by battle or card effect, you can shuffle one Madolche monster from your graveyard into your deck instead. Chateau already does this. Chateau puts all your monsters back into the graveyard, or from the graveyard back into the deck, so I really don't think this is going to be that important, so it's whatever. And we have the other two cards, the Rainbow Reincarnation, or Rainbow Refraction, excuse me, not Rainbow Incarnation. It's a quick play spell. If a monster under your control with Rainbow Dragon or Rainbow Dark Dragon, as its original name is that, activated its effect this turn, you can special summon any number of Crystal Beast monsters with different names from your deck. This is not very good. This is not very good, I'll admit, because you have to control Rainbow Dragon or Rainbow Dark Dragon, which is really hard to do. First off. But the fact that since you have to control this card, or have to control a Rainbow Dragon or Rainbow Dark Dragon, just to even play this card, you won't even play this card because the conditions are so high, secondly. I think this card is very, very bad, but, I mean, who knows, someone wants this card, so... Yes. Crystal Conclave, the continuous trap card. Once per turn, if a face-up Crystal Beast monster you control is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can special summon one Crystal Beast monster from your deck, but send send this face-up card from the field to the graveyard, then target one Crystal Beast monster you control. Oh, well, I'm skipping on to the second effect. You control and one other monster on the field. Return them to the hand. You cannot activate these effects in the same chain. This is actually a really good card because it allows you to special summon a card from your as a response to one of your Crystal Beast cards dying, and then you can just pop this card to get another Crystal Beast in your Spell and Trap card zone. Oh no, it returns some of your Crystal Beast cards from your Spell and Trap card zone to your hand, which is really good. I think this is really, really good. You play this at 1, though, if you're playing the Crystal Beast stuff. I think that's the right ratio for this card. You play none of this card, and I think you play 3 and 2, mainly because this is a low scale on this, and the card's effect's not terrible. But I think overall, like I said, Flames of Destruction is already an insane set, so the OCG imports, I'm not really going to complain too much on it, because they're going to make a bunch of money off the set just because of this. Also, I want to discuss the financial aspect of this move. They're appealing to a more of a casual audience when they make the Crystal Beast stuff, they make the Flower Guardian stuff, and they put arguably the 3 worst Link monsters from the Link Brains pack into this set, because since they're trying to appeal to this casual audience, it's going to make them a little bit more money in the long run, because people are going to be buying more of the packs and more of the singles this way. Though, like I said, you probably shouldn't be too worried on this. I wouldn't worry about any of this stuff really affecting the game, except maybe Insector, Picoflania, if we ever get Insector stuff. So, but I mean, other than that, the rest of the stuff is okay, but not competitively viable. So yeah, if you guys did enjoy, please leave a comment in the comment section below. Tell me what you guys think about this, about these imports. I honestly think they're fine, but everyone else seems to disagree. But anyway, this has been Chief signing out.